Well, hello everybody and welcome back. It is Jeff again coming to you from the Minecraft vanilla server. And what's left to do? Just lots of collecting. Lots and lots and lots and lots of collecting. So, I mean, I have to do the collecting, so you guys can come along for the ride, I guess. It's not going to be the most entertaining and crazy footage, Minecraft footage that you've ever seen, but hopefully we can still keep ourselves entertained nonetheless. I think we've always managed to in the past, so I think we will be absolutely fine. I'm going to make a bunch of shovels. I could probably even do with making more shovels than this. Because what are we going to do? We're going to make a, go to Doc's farm. And start farming some snow, because that's pretty much, well, crap. Well, crap. Here, we can do that. We'll do that, so then I can go make some more while we're over there. But, yeah, it's all about collecting snow, collecting wool, collecting iron, because in order to collect wool, I need more iron, and to get more iron, I need to do some caving, so that will eventually happen. But right now, it's all about the snow collection. So you just saw I made a bunch of shovels. We're going to head on over to Doc's snow farm and just start farming away. And maybe you guys know a better method to do this than I'm doing, but I feel that his snow farm worked a lot better once upon a time, and now the timing seems to just be off, and he hasn't been on the server in a while, so he didn't change anything. It's just, I think something happened to it, and I'm not exactly sure what it is, because every time I come over here like on my own, it's weird. It's weird, but either way, we will see this stuff coming up soon. So I don't know what's been going on with you guys lately, but I will tell you I have been a busy person. New job and all that fun stuff has definitely kept me rolling, preparing for Minecon, all of that stuff, and I love it. I love every minute of it, because it's just, see, there we go. I'm getting this double snow. You'll see in a minute what I'm talking about. I'm getting this double snow. My shovel will break. I was a little off in the timing there, but my shovel just broke. But it only triggers me to get a shovel every other cycle. So I end up sitting here with my hand for a little while. And I don't know if that's intended. I want to say that before it was actually doing this a lot faster. Unless maybe it was filled with iron shovels. You know what? It could have been filled with iron shovels, and I've just gotten lazy and gone down to some stone shovels, because I really don't see the good point of wasting iron like that. Like, it's not something I want to do. I don't want to waste iron like that. So I'm going to do this. But either way, I don't know how things have been where you guys have been at. We've had a very interesting run here in DC of some crazy snowstorms. Or, yes, snowstorms in June. No, of crazy rainstorms and hailstorms and things like that. Yesterday, we were on like super flood warnings and all this crazy stuff. And it's funny, like phones I think now pretty much automatically install like some National Weather Service alerts, and my phones were going crazy last night. Super loud, super high pitched like weather tones coming out to tell me that basically we were in a flood warning for most of the night. And granted, it didn't flood, which is good, but it did rain like completely insane and crazy. And let me tell you, I left work yesterday. I left work when it was raining. My car is approximately, I don't know, a couple hundred yards away from the, maybe not even that much, maybe like 100 yards. It's probably about a football field's worth away from the door that I would leave, like the parking lot I get to park in. I walked out toward the door when I was going to leave yesterday, and it was raining. I had been watching it in my office, and I've been looking out the window going, is this ever going to actually, like, let up, or am I just stuck here, basically, waiting for this to go away? And I sat there, and I sat there, and I sat there, and I don't know why I was going to go back up there. And the longer I sat there, I was like, this rain isn't stopping. I said, I'm not going to stay at work all night just because it's raining. Let me man up and go deal with the rain. Now, this was an interesting rain because it was still sunny. It was bright, it was sunny, it was beautiful looking. on everything except for the insane tsunami that was essentially happening, like, in DC. I looked for a rainbow. I didn't see one. So before you ask, there was no rainbow that I could see. But I'm sure one existed. It was sunny and it was raining. Like, therefore, there has to be a rainbow. Like, that's all that is like lights and refraction and things like that. So, I mean, there was a rainbow somewhere. I just, unfortunately, don't know exactly where that rainbow was at. So, I finally decide to man up and go out the door. The door I walk out happens to have a bin next to it that's for, like, recycling and, you know, cardboard and things like that. And I didn't have an umbrella, so I dug through this bin. I found an old box that was sitting in there, and I grabbed 2 huge pieces of cardboard, like 2 old boxes, that I could shield myself with as an umbrella. And I ventured out into the great unknown. Now, did these boxes help me? One bit? Yes, to an extent. By the time I got to my car, the lower portion of my body from my neck down was absolutely drenched. I might as well have jumped in a lake. And I mean, I was that soaked. I instantly, the first thing I did when I opened the car door is I took my phone out of my pocket and I threw it at the passenger seat so that I could get it out of a puddle that it was sitting in my pocket. And that was because I didn't want my phone to get ruined. But that's how drenched I was. It was literally, my pocket was full of just like a puddle of water. Now, unfortunately, the rain was kind of going sideways. So it was going sideways the direction toward my driver door as well. So the second I got over to my driver door, I had to drop one of the pieces of cardboard in order to get my keys out of my pocket. And when I did that, I unlocked the door. I opened the door and tried to jump in, and just the sheer act of getting in my car and dropping the cardboard for that little bit of time, I was now soaked full on, head to toe, absolutely drenched. Okay, no big deal. I'm heading home. I'm soaked. It's a nasty ride home. I don't know if you've ever ridden in a car when you're just absolutely soaked with water. It's miserable, but whatever. I don't live terribly far from home, so... Or excuse me, I don't live terribly far from home. I don't work terribly far from my home, so I was like, okay, I can deal with this. I can get home. I can make it. The problem is, it was raining super hard. Oops. Super, super, super hard it was raining. I think I've made that clear. It was not a cold day. The day was still about 90 degrees. It's been really hot here in DC lately. So it was a 90-degree day. I have never experienced this before. My car has been outside in 90-degree weather, baking in the sun for the previous about 9 hours that I've been at work. I got in, I shut the door. The water on my body heated up because it's now entered a 90-degree area. I have never been soaked to the bone. Full on dress clothes too. I mean, I'm wearing a shirt and tie and all this fun stuff. Full on dress clothes, soaked to the bone in this cold rainwater. But then I get in my car and it like instantly heats up to damn near 90 degrees because, you know, the water starts to evaporate and it starts to take on the ambient temperature around it. My car was so hot. How hot was it? No. My car was so hot that the steering wheel was leaving black marks all over my hand from being wet hands grabbing a steering wheel of a like plastic super heated to 90 degrees temperature. I will tell you, I thought I was going to pass out on the way home. I have never went from so cold to so hot all in such a quick time frame. It was the most brutal experience that I think I've ever had. I don't know if you guys have ever had anything similar to that before, but I mean, rain usually doesn't bother me. I don't care if it's raining. I'm not a person who brings an umbrella with me. I don't care. I'll get wet. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I dry off, you know, relatively fast. But when it's raining that hard, you have no choice. You don't dry off that fast. It's raining that hard that you don't dry off. on top of the fact that just being so miserably hot. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I just wanted to describe it to you guys while I'm sitting here just gathering snow, because that's all I'm like doing in this episode is getting snow ready for the base of the card that I'm planning on building out in the ocean somewhere. But it was literally one of the most miserable experiences that I've ever had. When I got home, I had to jump in the shower. I felt that dirty from that rain, that heat, that sweat that I was feeling. Like, I was sweating on the way home. I went from walking through a tsunami to I'm sweating on the car ride home. And you can't even tell that you're sweating per se, because have you ever sweat when you're soaked? You can't really tell that you're sweating all that much because it's all just liquid pooling around your body, and it sounds gross and it feels gross, and it's horrible. And I'll tell you, and it's funny today, it's high of like 70 today. It's supposed to get down to like 60 degrees tonight. Like, now that all hit, we're in a cold front. But the thing is, it all started when it was, it was not a cold front at the time. So, and a cold front in June is, 60 degrees. Oh, that's so cold. No, 60 degrees ain't cold. I'm from Michigan. Please, I love the cold. I love the cold weather. I miss the winter. All those people who sit around here and say, oh, I want to move to some place that doesn't have winter. Oh, screw that. I'm a skier. I'm a snowboarder. I love the snow. I love the winter. I also know how to drive in it, though, which is a huge difference. Like, a lot of people who tell you that they dislike the winter, it's because they're not used to it and they don't know how to act in it. Like, around DC, rain, there was so many accidents that happened yesterday around here just because of the fact that there was so much rain. People instantly lose their ability to make good judgment decisions when driving. A little bit of water on the ground. What should you do? Slow the F down. Like, there's no reason you should think that you are able to continue driving your normal speeds when there's any type of inclement weather. That should just be common knowledge for people. It baffles me that people still don't comprehend that, when it rains or it snows, it makes it more difficult to get traction on the road. Like, there must be, that's crazy. Am I the only person who thinks that? Well, no, of course you're not the only person who thinks that, moron. That's how it is. That's how life works. If things are in nominal conditions, you're going to have a slightly different, time in driving. Traction, friction, mu, if I recall from physics class correctly, it's the coefficient mu. Is it coefficient? Is that what it even is called? I don't remember. But mu is the constant. It's the constant. I don't even know. No, mu is not the constant. Mu is not a constant. Mu is always changing. But it was the basis for, friction. And friction is completely what is based off of snow, rain, all that stuff. It's your surface traction. How well are my wheels going to grip to this surface? People, you can act stupid all you want and pretend you didn't realize that rain was going to disrupt your drive home. Everybody knows better. Anybody who can physically get behind the wheel of a car and actually physically understands the concept of driving. You can't try to pull the dumb card and pretend you didn't know that it was going to make life more difficult. Yes, I understand that some people, it becomes more difficult than they realize, and that's what causes a lot of accidents as well. Sure. However, there's too many people out there who literally drive the exact same way that they drive in snow, in rain, in dry conditions, in heavy traffic. It doesn't matter. They will try to drive the exact same speed. They will try to drive like the same way that they do on a normal basis, and that is absolutely asinine. Why people think that that's a way that you should go about life? It's beyond me. But I'm here to tell you, like, I made it home safe. I was absolutely fine. It was a long, slow drive home because there was accidents that we had to slow down for and, move over to the side for. And of course, when there's accidents as well, what happens is they call people like me and my side career, my side volunteer gig as a firefighter EMT. They call 911. They call EMTs. EMTs have to come out. They have to get in lanes of traffic with a big ambulance and a big fire engine and move people out of the way because they're responding emergency to calls because they don't know the extensive damages when they get 911 calls. So you're all of a sudden sitting there and going much slower because you're trying to give way for these ambulances and fire trucks on the road so that, people can actually, get ambulances and fire trucks, get over there, save the people. That's what you're there for. And everybody, I can't say everybody, but people want the ambulances and fire trucks to be able to make it over and actually, save the people that are in distress. But everybody really doesn't want that because they still are, everybody's on their own agenda. As much as we all want to sit here and be like, oh no, of course, I really care about the well-being of everybody else over myself. If I'm going to be fine, I'd rather, move out of the way and let somebody else get saved who's actually in need of help. Yes, that's a great thing for most of us to say on the outside, but most people don't actually think like that. Like, how often are you driving down the street and you get very upset because, oh God, here comes the ambulance. Like, let me try to move over to the side of the road here, and all these people, are all trying to merge over to the right side of the road to let this ambulance through. And the second that ambulance passes you by, you've now already missed your opportunity because the people who were 15 cars behind you, everybody pulled over because this ambulance is coming up from the rear. Everybody I went too far. Everybody pulls over, but what happens is the ambulance passes the cars that are 15 cars behind you prior to it passing you. And that gives these people a clear and free conscience to say, hey, I let that ambulance go through. Now I got clear sailing right behind this ambulance. F these other people who were already in front of me who pulled over to do the exact same thing. I now feel that I should be able to drive right behind this ambulance and just pass all these other people who are sitting on the side of the road. That's happened to you before. You know that you've experienced that. You probably know, half of you, if not more than half of you, probably know that feeling of being that person who's done that, because I'll admit it, I've done that before too. But it doesn't mean it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Yeah, and yes, I'm admitting I do it. No, I'm not a perfect individual. I will never sit here and pretend that I am a perfect individual. I try as my hardest to help people when I can, but at the end of the day, of course, who am I looking out for? I'm looking out for myself, as well as, that's what most people are doing. Myself and my family, that's what I care about at the end of the day. And it's unfair to say, because you think like, no, like we should care about other people. And we do. Deep down, yes, of course. Everybody cares about everybody else and doesn't really wish harm on other people. But when you see your opportunity to overtake, you do it. And sure, if you're that guy who happened to have that first idea to do the overtaking and now you've just gained 15 car lengths because of the fact that you were quick thinking to get right back in behind that ambulance and kind of go and pass all those other people who are sitting on the side of the road, you always feel to yourself like, yeah, I did something good. I just made my way up a little bit farther ahead in this chain. Whereas if you're that person on the side of the road because you can't get back in because all those people behind you are just passing you by and not giving you the opportunity, you get furious. I mean, that's the way it works. It's funny. If you're the guy doing it, you feel all excited and like, look at me, I'm so smart. And if you're stuck on the side, you're like, son of a bitch, I can't believe people would actually do that. Let's all admit it. We've all done it before. We're all kind of that asshole from time to time who makes that, that dick move to do that. We know it. We know it. I admit it too. As much as it makes me mad, I admit it too. But either way, as you guys can see, this is the thought process that goes through my head when I'm doing like anything in general in life, and it's more fun to talk about while I'm doing tedious tasks such as collecting snow. So I'm sure you guys really don't want to watch this any longer, but I hope you guys enjoyed at least. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Got a lot of tedious work, like I said, that I have to do, and I want to make sure that I'm doing this as well as trying to deliver entertaining content to y'all. Some people might not think it's entertaining. I rather like to vent when I play Minecraft. That's how it started me making videos was. It was my place to vent and have something different than my normal everyday life. It was, let's get on, let's bitch, let's tell stories, let's just have a good time. That's what I like to do. And I think that my fans who are out there who keep keep tuning into these things, they know that about me, and they know that that's what I'm doing here and why I do this stuff. So I think people appreciate it, and I'm glad you guys do. On that note, everybody, thanks for watching. I just got to keep collecting snow, and I will see you guys in the next episode.